now. Hello, I'm talking to Dan Ryan, Sales Director at I/O in Singapore.
Hey Peter, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm enjoying the show, and I hope you are too.
Very much so, very much so.
So Dan, what are the demands of customers in Southeast Asia like?
You know, I think we're seeing a lot of interesting demands. We're coming off of what I think is kind of a tail end of a cycle where we've seen very similar demands for quite a long time, very similar arrangements, whether it's a rack layout, an IT kit within the demands of the application or the demands of the internal service provider themselves, the end user. And as a service provider from the data center side, we deliver to what our customers want, but we also want to push our customers to look at innovation where it might be effective. And when we look at that, it's interesting where when the market is predominantly providing one thing, customers seem to gravitate and shape their need around that. They know it's there, right?
Yep.
The product A and product B and product C are similar, and so they shape their ask and their requests around those products. When we have something new enter the market, it's then a interesting give and take with customers that want to have desired to look for something new, were able to in the past, and so it's, can you provide what they need today and grow with them and give them some leverage to move? And will that come back in the next few years and kind of break that cycle of A is always A, and tomorrow A will be A, and 5 years from now A will be A.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really an interesting time in the
Enabling
market.
things to change.
Exactly, enablement, right? It's I think enablement is the best word for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, if customers have there are a handful of things that everybody needs, it'll be on every list, and it'll include availability, efficiency, perhaps PUE, reliability and recovery, and you could probably add to this list, and even price.
Mm-hmm.
Given that everybody has all these things, every customer wants in all of these things, and that you can provide all these things, is there one thing that's you just know is going to be the thing that causes them to come to you or sort of threaten to leave you? What's the one top demand?
No, that's a very good point, and I think it's most readily available. You can see it most in the marketing of our own company and our peers, is that we have very similar messages to the market. High security, especially here in Singapore, whether it's with the banks or with the internal companies, availability, uptime. Really, the industry has evolved very well in the sense that I think there are now what I would consider table stakes, things you have to provide to be considered a brand data center provider.
Yep.
Where it gets interesting is where companies like ourselves begin to differentiate, and where they do really become different operators, whether it's a technology platform, how they deliver their service, a go-to-market strategy, the clientele they target as well, right? Not everyone is chasing the same client.
Yep.
Clients have different things, and so what always interests me is when I'm speaking with a client and they begin to ask questions like, well, what is your take on availability versus reliability? Because it can be defined in different ways, and customers can have their own perception of that.
Yeah.
And so what always really fascinates me is to understand the customer's perception of the market and what they need versus how they're going to execute against that, and then to see where we can really fit in and either help them enable that transformation, help them plan that transformation, or be part of it directly.
Good. So it sounds like in the end it comes down to communication with the customer.
Yeah, I think with all things, right? Customer, wife, friend, parents.
Okay.
It's communication.
Brilliant.
It's people.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.